My best friend screamed, "You're too involved in my wedding, so I'm uninviting you." I asked her, "Are you sure?" And then I canceled her wedding venue. Let's back up. Michelle and I had been inseparable friends since middle school and had pinky promises that we'd be each other's maid of honor someday, which is why I had gone all out for Michelle's wedding. I used my own cash to put down the deposit for her wedding venue and spent day and night booking the best caterers and vendors available. Then one evening, Michelle invited me over and said these exact words, "You're making my wedding all about you." What? I asked, thinking I'd misheard. "You're too controlling, too involved." She kept going, her voice getting colder. "I'm replacing you as maid of honor. Actually, I think it's best if you don't come to the wedding at all. This day needs to be about me, not managing your feelings and need for attention. I need you to hand over all the planning materials tonight. My sister will handle it from here." I thought this had to be a joke because I'd literally just spent my morning picking out her wedding cake alone, driving 40 minutes each way to the bakery she'd insisted on. "Too involved?" I repeated, knowing full well how she'd begged me to help with all the planning when the wedding was first involved. She went on about how I made unilateral decisions and didn't respect boundaries, which was insane considering I'd texted her about every single detail beforehand. I never mentioned the $5,000 of deposits I'd put down with my own money when her credit cards were maxed. I never brought up the vacation days I'd burned venue hunting, or the nights I'd spent negotiating with vendors to stay within her budget. "So, you're uninviting me?" I asked, just to be clear. "Uninviting me from your wedding after I planned the entire thing?" She nodded, looking almost relieved. "I need to do this for myself. A real friend would understand." I stood up, still holding the cake samples she hadn't even looked at. "Okay," I said quietly, "if that's what you want." I left the samples on her coffee table and walked out. She texted me an hour later, "Please drop off the wedding binder ASAP. Also the vendor contact list. Thanks for understanding. This is better for both of us." I was lying in bed at 2 a.m., her text still glowing on my phone screen, when it hit me. Every single vendor contract was in my name. The venue, the florist, the photographer, the caterer, and even the DJ. All secured with my deposits because Michelle's credit was shot, and she'd begged me to help, promising to pay me back after the honeymoon. I grabbed my laptop and pulled up the contracts. There was my name on everything, clear as day. The wedding was in 3 weeks. I started with the venue, sending them an email at 2 a.m. "I need to cancel my reservation for October 15th. I understand I'll forfeit the $2,000 deposit." The automatic confirmation came back immediately. I moved to the florist next. $800 deposit, gone. The photographer, $1,200 deposit, gone. The caterer was trickier. They had a 48-hour cancellation policy for the full refund, but I didn't care about the money anymore. Canceled. The DJ, the rental company for chairs and tables, the bartending service, all canceled, canceled, canceled. By 4 a.m., I'd systematically erased every trace of Michelle's wedding. The only thing I couldn't touch was her dress, so she got lucky, in a way. I closed my laptop, feeling lighter than I had in months. Michelle wanted to plan her own wedding without me being too involved. Well, now she would have to, from scratch. I actually laughed out loud thinking about her sister trying to book a venue this close to October. I texted her back at 5 a.m., "Can't make it to drop off the binder. You're right though, this is better for both of us." My phone started ringing at 8 a.m. when the venue's office opened and called Michelle to confirm the cancellation. I had 25 missed calls by 8:30. Michelle was at my door by 9, pounding and screaming. "What did you do to my wedding?" she shrieked when I finally opened it. I removed myself from the situation, I said calmly, since I was too involved. She was literally shaking, mascara running down her face. "The venue says you canceled. The florist says there's no order. Everything is gone." I leaned against my doorframe. "Yeah, I canceled my bookings. They were all in my name, paid with my money. $5,000 of my savings, actually." She started sobbing about how the wedding was in 3 weeks, how nothing was available, how I'd destroyed her life. "You said you wanted to plan it yourself," I reminded her. "Now you can, from the beginning, without me being controlling." She got quiet, her voice dropping to almost a whisper. "I trusted you. You were supposed to be my best friend." I looked her straight in the eye. "I was. I spent 6 months planning your perfect wedding for free, and you uninvited me because I was too helpful." She stepped closer, her face twisted with rage. "I hate you. I actually hate you." I smiled for the first time since this started. "Yeah, me too."